When you first start Monster Hunter World and you are met with the choice to pick from any of these different weapons, you may not know exactly which one to pick. After all, look at all of these different options. You can have ranged weapons, a very complicated weapon that transforms into two different weapons. You can have a lance with a shield. You can have a lance with a shield that also shoots bullets. You can have giant swords, huge hammers, and even a freaking guitar. So it is normal that among all of these different options, one that gets easily overlooked is the sword and shield. And that is the weapon that I want to talk about because the more I play it, the more I notice that it is incredibly overlooked. I've actually gone ahead and found the first Y variant just to check how many players really play the sword and shield, and turns out that it is one of the least popular weapons in Monster Hunter World, ranking in the 11th place out of all 14 weapons with only 3% of the entire population playing it. And I get why a lot of people may not want to pick it up, after all it is the very first weapon that the game hands you, and at a glance it isn't very appealing. However, the more I play with this weapon, the more I am fascinated by exactly what you can do with it. It really is the most versatile weapon in the game, allowing you to deal elemental damage with your sword very quickly, or even do blunt damage with your shield, which doesn't even consume sharpness when you actually use it. And this weapon is actually a lot stronger than I first expected, especially after the buffs that Capcom gave it. Before, you kinda had to rely on the falling bash combo, just spamming this to get the most damage out of the weapon, which wasn't very reliable given that landing that on a monster can be a bit tricky. However, now the best thing you can do to get damage output is to do the perfect rush and keep on looping it into even more perfect rushes. And I really like this move. I think it is very satisfying to pull it off, and this weapon just has so much skill expression between the different backstab options you have. You can go from a backstab into a charge slash, you can go from a backstab and then cancel it into a rising slash, you can just do the backstab to avoid an attack and go into the leaping slash for the perfect rush, or even just backstab for the iframes and then use an advancing slash. And the best thing about the sword and shield that gets overlooked a lot in my opinion is this right here. The claw uppercut into being able to tenderize a monster with a single hit, all the while dropping slinger ammo. It's just a fantastic thing, which then allows you to do slinger burst into the perfect rush combo. Everything about the weapon just flows seamlessly together very well, and it is so much fun. I'm simply having a blast with the sword and shield, especially with this new build that I'm using. So in today's video I'm going to be showcasing just how strong this weapon can be, and maybe I'll get some of you guys to pick up the sword and shield. The weapon I'm going to be using is the Safi'jiiva sword and shield. This is the blast version, and as you can see I put all attack increases, and I also added the Velkhana divinity, which when you add up to all of these armor pieces is going to give me not only critical element, but more importantly Frostcraft. Now Frostcraft is something that is going to increase my damage output shortly after I unsheath my weapon. As you can see, if I keep attacking, that bar below my stamina is going to be decreased, but whenever I sheath my weapon, the bar gets filled back up and then I deal more damage again. I really like this playstyle. I think that it is very good for burst damage, and honestly I just think that it is very fun and looks very cool. I mean, just look at that animation. I'm also using a couple of Raging Brachydios pieces along with the Challenger Charm to get Agitator's Secret, and so I end up with a lot of offensive skills like Agitator and the classic attack boost and the affinity skills, but I also have room to slot in some very useful and comfortable skills such as Health Boost, Evade Window and Divine Blessing. I don't want to spoil monsters for a newer player, so let's just go ahead and do a Tempered Black Diablos. Alright, and there she is. And let's start with that thing that I love right there, the claw uppercut. It is such a good thing that the sword and shield has going for it. So like right now, being able to simply tenderize a monster part with just a single hit with a light weapon is such a good feature, not having to slap the monster around. And we already broke one of its horns. And just look at how fast the Frostcraft recharges on the sword and shield. And we got a beautiful KO. Again, I'm just doing the basic perfect rush loops. I think I'm going to miss a few hits. Oh, we get a Clagger opportunity. Let's go ahead and use it. And again, it's already recharged again. Both horns are already broken. And just look at the damage we're doing. Gonna see if I can backstab this. I was a bit too late. That's something that I'm still trying to get the hang of, the timings for the backstab. Even though I have a Vade window, I'm still not very good at this, as you can see right here. So that is definitely something that I have to improve upon. Let's put on the evasion mantle now. Can I dodge this? See, that was a perfect use of the backstab, but I got hit by the second hit of the tail. I should have been more careful about that. And Diablos is already not enraged, so let's see if I can use this to our advantage. I'm missing the claw uppercut a lot. Let's go ahead and do some basic attacks. Oh, beautiful para. So of course we go back into the looping perfect rush. Maybe I should not have started the loop. Let's see if we have enough time to finish. Nice. Oh, and we can still Clagger. So let's go again with another backstab into the perfect rush. Oh my god, we're doing so well. And we backstab that. Again, I'm being hit by the second attack, but I'm still being able to dodge partially with the first one, and we get a mount on the sliding attack. Because again, the sword and shield also has a ton of mobility with the advancing slash. It's such a fantastic weapon, I'm liking it so much. Honestly, I'm thinking of taking a sword and shield to try to beat Fatalis, because it is so versatile, it has so many options. I just don't see it being a bad option against Fatalis, or being a bad matchup in any sense. So right there I cancelled the perfect rush because I wanted to go into the claw uppercut to try to tenderize the Diablo's face. He ended up moving, or she ended up moving, so I ended up tenderizing the tail, which is totally fine. We got a Clagger, so I actually get to tenderize the face now. Now, one thing that I dislike about this build I may change in the future is that I run through sharpness very quickly. I don't even have purple sharpness to begin with, I only start with white sharpness. So I might give myself some handicraft. I'm still unsure about the best way to improve this build. Of course I could always just take the opportunity to use a wet fish fin, like right now, but I was not able to avoid that roar right there. But I do want to change it so that I don't ever have to sharpen, because I'm guessing that if I go into Fatalis, for example, I won't have the chance to sharpen in the middle of combat. Another thing that I like about Frostcraft a lot is that it makes me be a lot more aware of my moves, because you kinda don't want to waste your attacks on attacks that don't do a lot of damage, and so I try to reposition myself a lot more. I don't spam attacks as much, and so I don't end up being in a lot of bad scenarios. Honestly, if I were to be objective, I don't think Frostcraft is particularly amazing on the sword and shield, but because it charges so fast and it is a fun skill to use, I still think that it is a pretty decent option. Oh, we got another Clagger. Let's go ahead and use it. And of course, these backstabs are simply amazing. I love the skill expression that comes with it. Oh, we got a beautiful KO right there. Just going from having your weapon unsheathed into starting the perfect rush, it always feels very good to do this. We get another para, which is fantastic. Oh, and that was the end of the hunt. Very quick hunt right there to showcase just how powerful the sword and shield is, and also just how fun and engaging the Frostcraft style is. A lot of you guys told me that you enjoyed this type of video when I last made it, so I decided to do another one for a weapon that I am currently loving. Let me know how you guys feel about the sword and shield. Are you a part of the 3% of players that actually uses it? And do you have any recommendations on how I should improve my build going up against Fatalis? And have you tried using Frostcraft before? Let me know all of that in the comment section below. With that being said, thank you all so much for watching. My name is Dark Hero, and as always, happy hunting!